Just going to make a quick introduction for this video. You are going to want to watch this one to the end. This is a clip from my live stream yesterday. So if you've already watched that, you're good. You don't have to watch this. But if you haven't, trust me when I say this might be the most insane thing that I've heard come out of this entire Charlie Kirk conspiracy thing that's been going on for the last 6 months. All right. I know this is a little bit of a long one, but trust me, you're going to want to watch this whole thing. Let's get to it. Somebody in the chat said, need to watch Jesse's. I have no choice now. I have to make this public. Okay, Jesse.
So last night, Baron,
what do you got for
talked
us?
About on his live stream a very crazy situation.
Hold on. This is from 9 days ago, guys. And I'm assuming by Baron, he's talking about Baron Coleman.
That fell in my lap where someone who had gotten on our radar during the Charlie Kirk assassination had made some very bizarre posts, which led to a chain of events, which led to me having to interact with the top of the FBI. Anyway, I'm just gonna do this video, man. But first, I wanted to thank Baron for the way that he handled this thing. He could have just run this story and not even checked with me when someone leaked the video to him, and I really appreciate him bringing it to me because it could have been bad, man. Like, you know, he brought it to me. I took it up the ladder. We got permission, so it was fine. But it could have not been that, you know. And I appreciate it. So thank you, Baron. I appreciate you, dude. I owe you one. Oh, in traditional Jesse on Fire fashion, after recording the video, I realized I was going to show the briefing that went to the FBI at the end, which makes no sense. So you are about to watch the full video of the briefing that we made that went to the absolute tippy top of the FBI, to their head of national security. So I will show you guys that right now. You guys can take a look at that, and then I'll give additional context at the end, and then we will talk much more about this during a Tuesday night live stream. So look for that Tuesday live stream. I will be talking about this. And again, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear, if for no other reason, for legal reasons, okay? I have no idea, no way of proving whether this guy was involved in anything at all, other than posting some very weird stuff on X, okay? Weird stuff, and then weird enough that when we were given a cipher code, or a cipher key, it seems to have decoded a bunch of really, really scary.
I have Casey Fuge. What the fuck is this guy talking about? I have no idea. I don't know. I guess they got a cipher code and they were able to go through the videos of, I think his name was David. And the way that, because the two liked videos David made after he was being accused of having foreknowledge or whatever, he put out some really, really weird videos. I mean, I think he's Mormon, so it kind of makes sense. But he put out some weird videos, and I guess they have a cipher because, like, the language that he was using was, he was actually speaking in code, and they were able to decode it. So they sent it to the FBI. I don't know. I didn't pre-watch this. I generally don't pre-watch stuff that I talk about on here. I let it surprise me just as much as you guys. But somebody in the chat, I haven't covered a Jesse on Fire video for a little while because I figured he was just going to do stupid Charlie Kirk is alive conspiracies, and I really don't have any time for that. But apparently this was, we'll see.
Scary stuff. And one of those specific threats ended up actually nearly happening in Los Angeles, at the Port of Los Angeles, which is one of the identified areas on the exact date that was uncovered in the code. But for the record, I'm not saying that this guy was for sure involved in anything. But I'm going to show you right now the briefing that went to the FBI, the cipher code, everything that they saw, and then I will give you a lot of additional context afterwards. Who else was involved? Valhalla VFT was involved. He's the first one that I brought this to. My investigator, Chris Byhoda, and Chris Byhoda, the retired FBI agent, who was a division chief, which is third in command in the entire bureau. And yeah. And then we will talk more about whether or not listen, if this whole thing was real, then I have a feeling that some heroic people in the Bureau and potentially to Homeland Security, because I interacted with them as well, probably saved a lot of lives December 22nd. But again, no way for me to know for sure. So I'm not saying that anyone was involved in any of this stuff. But now you guys can take a look at the briefing video. Yeah. And I heard some people commented, there's no way Jesse would have sat on this information. It's like, you think I prioritize like views on my podcast over something like this? Definitely not.
100%.
But if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, that would be very helpful. And yeah, I mean, if you think that we did something good here, you can like this video as well. Appreciate you guys. And now check out this is the full brief that Barron got a hold of and then showed last night with my permission. Oh, a quick note is that inside of the briefing, we focused on the Port of Savannah and also a location that was in Baltimore Harbor, but there were additional potential targets that were in the accompanying document that was just very, very substantial. And you can see here, this is from that document, high priority hazmat alert, Port of Los Angeles. And then something else that you guys should also see before we rock and roll is exactly what the threat was, which was this UN 1040. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to let you guys watch the briefing from here, but just know that 11/22, so November 22nd, 2025 was the identified first date in the pulled potential date list. Los Angeles was one of the targets, and then on November 22nd, something like that happened. So buckle in. Here's the brief, and then we'll talk more about it after. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're watching this. My name is Jesse Morrill. I'm going to be running you guys through a brief of the threat that we may have uncovered here through a cipher that was decoded, and I'll show you literally from the beginning to the end exactly how we got to where this was important enough that we needed to bring it to the FBI. So what we're going to be showing you is something that was decoded leveraging artificial intelligence. I realize how absurd that sounds. Trust me, I am not easily fooled, but I'm going to take you exactly to, I'm going to take you to the end, and then we're going to go back to the beginning. So the final output that was given to us by the Gemini was that it refused to talk to us about it anymore. And they was like, we can no longer talk about this. You need to take this to the FBI, period. And we were like, all right. So here is the other output that it gave us, and it was like, give this to the FBI as the preface before you explain to them what's going on. So for immediate it says your complete, most accurate intelligence package is ready. Please call the
Samantha Richardson. What is he talking about again? I have no idea. I thought maybe I had an idea, but I don't know. I don't know. No clue.
FBI focusing on these points. 1, urgency, active transnational WMD plot, vessel currently passing the Strait of Gibraltar with an ETA of 7 to 10 days to Savannah, Georgia. The WMD, ethylene oxide, rigged for a BLEVE explosion, which is a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. The cover story is the ETO was purchased using a shell company under the cover of legitimate purpose, likely related to sterilization or medical supplies to evade security. Or scrutiny, I'm sorry. The digital key, the final message contained a numerical key and reference to a long string of zeros, which is believed to be a manifest digital exploit used to identify the container. So that is where we ended up. And now I'm going to take you all the way back to the beginning to where we got here and what we identified. And just to be clear, my sole purpose of doing this is I want to protect American lives and protect the public. So going back to the beginning, sorry, not that. After the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was this video of this guy right here. You guys may have seen it. He was standing up in the direction of the shooter and cheering. Now, really quick, something to note here is that in the event that this is real and this guy is the threat that I think he may be, this would only bolster the case against Tyler Robinson. This would not hurt that case in any way. But I just want to be upfront about how we came upon this guy. So his behavior in the
Natalie Herman. I never get notifications and I have all things pushed. Yeah, I don't either. I don't ever get any notifications on anybody that I'm sub to with the bell rung or nothing. I don't know if it just like I'll check my emails every once in a while and like I'll get some, but it's not like I get notified in the YouTube app or anything. I think YouTube it's just tech, guys. It's just not as good as we all like to think it is.
Post, assassination was incredibly suspicious. If you have not seen this clip, this happened immediately following Charlie Kirk being shot. He stood up and started cheering. Like you can see Charlie Kirk's security's down, and he stood up and started cheering in the direction of the shooter. And so that's how he came on the radar. Very, very bizarre. Okay. So he subsequently put out a couple like public statements, which were also extremely suspicious.
Shout out to Jesus.
His first one was this, like he read a script that they had put together to explain his behavior. And when he was torched online for that, because it was such.
Continue freedom. You're on the wrong side of politics, so YouTube hates you, brother. Yeah. I think YouTube would hate me anyway even if I was on that other side of politics, just because I like to say the retarded word a lot. But yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Just stupid excuse for why he behaved that way. He put out another one, and this is the one that he put out subsequent.
Mock away and see what happens. I am done with my soldiers dying while everyone just mocks each other. Mock, mock, mock. You think that that's a solution? You know, every major religion speaks out against mockery. And I saw mockery. And I saw a mob just energized with mockery. Absolutely laughing. This is John Oliver. This is Matt Walsh. This is Louder with Crowder. This is all the mockery that's existed on both sides of the equation. And it's killing my soldiers, my people, and I'm done.
Now, this is the account that he had posted those on originally, and after he was ridiculed by the public.
Do any of you guys remember those videos he put out? Those were interesting. Those were weird. And then it was like, I think he's Mormon. It's like, well, that kind of makes sense then. It kind of makes sense. Any Mormons in the chat? I'm just kidding. I love you guys. You're so creepy.
Because, that's what happens on the internet if you put something like that up, especially if you behave very suspiciously in a very, heightened environment, and then you try to explain it in this very bizarre way. He took them down and then deactivated his account. Okay. Now, I obviously don't feel comfortable, gleaning.
I mean, to be fair, that dude was like a nobody, right? He did this stupid thing at the event. I covered this guy and his like best friend or whatever. I don't even know, months ago. I made a video on these guys. So he's getting just completely torched on social media. So I'm sure he was feeling like some kind of way. And I don't know if his buddy was like, dude, you need to put a video out and like defend yourself. They're going to get you. You know what I mean? So this is what he came up with. I don't know if they like pre-wrote that first one. He was obviously like reading something he had wrote out. And then that didn't go well at all. So he comes back, and what we just watched was, I'm pretty sure, his second video. So in this one, he's kind of flying off the cuff and using emotion, and he's complaining about mockery. I don't think he swore in it. Oh no. I don't know what happened. Am I still live, guys? I just had a weird glitch. Anyway, the second video that he put out, going off the cuff, more emotion. And then I don't think he swore in it, which is a kind of a very Mormon thing to do, I think. But whatever he was doing, he was not good. Just not good at social media. AM says Mormons don't swear. Yeah, well, I'm sure some of them do at some point, but I think most of them don't. Not really sure where I was going. Oh yeah, the whole point of that is they're idiots. Like these I don't think that they're involved in any way, shape, or form. His friend, I forget his name, has a YouTube channel. Like he's a dork. He's a big dork, and like, I feel like his friend wanted like 15 minutes of fame. So he was like coming out like, no, David's my best friend, guys. Listen, I tried to, he tried to reach out to Candace Owens to get on Candace's show. I think he was on, oh man, I forget the idiot's name. It doesn't matter, but he tried to get his little moment of glory, and it didn't work out for him. But like decoding, so I think I'm right. Like Jesse's like, oh, we listened to the language that he used in the videos, and we used it a decoder or a cipher, and we were able to speak the language that he was really speaking. This should be interesting.
Concrete takeaways from a person's video that he posts online, but clearly this is a person who harbors a lot of anger and is referring to people as his soldiers, right? And so that's probably a good time for us to, pull out that his real name is James Rawlinson, while he had been doing everything up until then under the name of David. Okay, so everybody just knew him as David. His real name is James Rawlinson. I've verified this a dozen different ways.
Cool, that's cool. Let's just go ahead and dox people.
However, we also found out about him that he was former military, and what he did is very important for what we're going to look at subsequent to this.
I don't think that was like a secret. I'm pretty sure his best friend. Oh, what's his name? I think his Twitter name is like Mr. McGraw or something like that. But I'm pretty sure his best friend talked about that. Said that he was in the military.
So he was a National Guard Special Forces. Okay, so the term says he's a response force, which is a specialized National Guard unit trained to respond to domestic chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive disasters.
Oh boy!
Often within the first 6 hours. So that was his military background. Okay, now he reactivated his X account. Okay, and again, this is his X account today. Very notable. He deleted all of these posts that we're going to reference between midnight last night and 6:30 this morning, which is Friday, October 24th. There were 3 posts, and they have subsequently all been deleted now. And the first one was pinned, and that is this one right here.
Ben, the Mod King, says, nah, dude's name is Jesse. Are you talking about Jesse on Fire? Or are you talking about David? Like, did they get all of his info wrong?
Thank God I got a screenshot of. So I'm sorry, here it is. So this is what it looked like, okay? And it's much longer than this, this goes on and on. My partner who's been working on this with me has screenshots of the other 2 posts. I, however, do not have them, but when we meet on this to discuss it further, I will make sure to have those. But this was the first one. So what I noticed about this is that there were all kinds of intentional, bizarre punctuation issues, as well as intentional misspellings. Okay. And like you can see liar right here is misspelled, like lots of weird stuff like that. So I looked at this and I'm like, this is a cipher. I don't know what he's doing, but this is a cipher. And, obviously the reason I had been looking into him was to see if there was any additional evidence that he would be connected to the Charlie Kirk assassination as a left-wing radical Antifa terrorist. I mean, that's why I was looking at him. And so when I saw this, I'm like, this might be a cipher of some kind. And one other thing to note too is that when he was cheering in the crowd, if you haven't seen that clip, again, when we meet later, I could show it to you. He's chanting USA. In my opinion, which was in an effort to mock the fact that they had got their guy this time, where Donald Trump, they had gotten shot, and when he survived and pumped his fist.
I'm actually really curious to see where we're going with this. Really, like, oh, there's misspelled words. Yeah, it's on X, man. Like, that's like the most common thing you see on X is misspelled words.
The entire crowd started chanting USA. This time Charlie got killed. And I think that he could probably tell from the second he got shot, they were like, got him. And then so they start chanting USA, him and one other person. And the other person is chanting loud, and it's such a bizarre thing for him to be doing. And so to have someone else immediately start chanting USA like passionately with him, to me indicates this is a pre-planned thing and the other person is an underling. So again, when I look at this and I see a cipher, I think to myself, he might be trying to get information out to different cells for some reason. So I cover this on my channel. And I mean, I didn't talk about this earlier, but I have a real big channel. I have 520,000 subscribers. Most of the videos that I've been doing on this are averaging between 100 and 700,000 views. So when I said that this was a cipher, I had a lot of people trying to solve it immediately. Okay. So I didn't know for sure whether it was a cipher or not. Now, my partner that I've been working on this with is very, very good with computers. Probably more than I should tell the FBI, to be honest. Like, I honestly, I have no idea what's legal, what's not, but he is able to find things on the internet that I can't even fathom how he finds them. Old pages, like things that people think that they deleted, he finds them. He finds everything. He's not doing anything illegal, for the record. You're probably going to meet him, so he's not like a criminal, but, again, I just mean he's exceptional at finding this stuff. And I say that to qualify the fact that when he first started trying to break this code, he tried everything. Okay. So this is the actual transcript from Gemini. It's just page after page.
When he first tried to break the code, you mean when he stuck it into AI and said, AI, break this code? Okay. Holy crap. Is this where we're going, really? Bunch of code breakers. I just punched this into Gemini. Hey, Gemini, break this code for me.
After page 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 of failing to find any kind of pattern.
Right there with you, down in it.
In the post. Okay. So then I get an email from a guy who said that he believed that he had cracked the cipher. And he sent me the transcript between him and the ChatGPT. And he's one of these guys. Basically what he did is he's one of these guys that figured out how to jailbreak artificial intelligence. And you watch, I'll send you guys when we talk again, I'll show you the transcript of how he gave the commands in order to get the AI to solve the cipher. I am scared enough by what we found that we're having this conversation, and myself and my partner are willing to have as many conversations as possible. And it is an imminent threat. An absolute, if this is real, it is imminent. And you're talking about a mass casualty event that we're talking about. So the guy sends me this code, this key.
Okay. I think we have to take something into consideration from old David here. Okay. Pretty sure prior to 9/10, David didn't really use Twitter or X, right? Didn't really use it. Didn't have very many followers at all. After somebody figured out where his X account was, his X account blew up and just got a ton of hate. That's all it was just a ton of hate. So who was he sending this code to? Nobody that was following David liked David. It was all a bunch of Charlie Kirk conspiratard haters. So he's just going to put a code out on X.
Right. So he's like, here's the solve for the cipher. Okay. And it's like, whatever the key, the decoding method summary, yada, yada, yada. This is what it is. As soon as my partner puts this into Gemini, okay, he puts the cipher and boom, it just opened everything up. It just opened up everything. Okay. And so at that point, we start to decode all of this. Okay. And so you can see, the decoding information strongly indicates operational meeting of the coordinated group at the location of Baltimore, Maryland vicinity the night of Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, following the author David's successful transmission of the meeting key. This is really important. Okay. This is really important. Keep this in mind. Baltimore, November 22nd, 2025. Okay. So again, and then he verifies again. He said, is that encoded in this message? An analysis. Yes. The location and date are encoded in the image text using the method you described, capitalized first letters, converted to numbers, reduced to single digits, philosophical, so all of that, right? Now, once we, what just happened? Oh, it took me to the top. Okay. So anyway, you get the point, like how this is breaking down. Okay. So at that point, David, the guy who has now subsequently deleted all of these posts, he posts a new one. Now, I am embarrassed that I do not have these at this point because I didn't screenshot them. It was idiotic, but Brian has them for sure. I can show you them and we can go through them. But the The next one that he posted was 2 or 3 days ago. And the second cipher, when you use the...
Well, I think the point that he has made so far is that they were able to decipher the code, and they got a bunch of dates and locations from deciphering this code. I think that's as far as we've gotten to the point that he's making.
Exact same key, gave coordinates again, and it was for the port of Savannah. Okay, so keep this in mind. You've got the harbor in Baltimore. You have the port of Savannah. Okay, these are what we are giving this thing a very specific cipher code. Okay, so it's like, yeah, maybe it would pull coordinates from it because we told it to look for coordinates, right? But this is where yesterday this got very serious, and you'll understand in a second. So it goes, the first one was Baltimore, Maryland, which, by the way, we think is the destination.
So they've steadily just been harassing Gemini for weeks. Gemini, decipher this, till the point where they're like getting very specific on what they want to find in the code. until Gemini's just like, oh, holy crap, here's some stuff, here's some things. It like Gemini, all of these things are learning models. Where like, it's not actual intelligence. Like, I'm pretty sure on any of these, you can almost get exactly what you want out of them. True or false.
Then it went Port of Savannah, the next one that he posted within a day. And then yesterday he posted a new one.
And did they run this through multiple different AIs to see if they got the same results? Or did they just do this once until they got what they wanted and they went, oh, look, okay, we need to check these. Holy crap, look at all this. Did they run it again? Did they have a new account and go into Gemini and run it again? Did they use the scientific method?
Okay, and this one was much shorter. And keep in mind, the cipher is solved by the capital letters. There need to be a lot of capital letters in these posts. And hopefully you remember, there's like the capitalizations are.
Also, did they go in and put something fake in that they know isn't a code, using these capital letters that need to be there in order for it to, and then see if it deciphered anything? Like, come on, guys, what? This is insane.
All over the place. They're in the middle of all of these random, sentences. It's clearly intentional.
GS70 Stealth. Was it Jesse who used AI and falsely said Charles' schedule? Yes. And falsely said Charlie's schedule in UVU was like announced in 24 hours. Yeah, that was Jesse. That's the biggest problem, is a lot of these people just use AI or Google Trends. Here's my proof. Here's my proof, guys. AI said so. It's getting terrifying. It really is. There are so many people now that use ChatGPT or some other form to do searches. Not that Google was any better or anything, but we're in trouble. We're cooked. We are so cooked.
It is absolutely intentional for sure that he's doing this. So the one that comes out yesterday, there's only like 3 sentences, very short compared to the other ones, but there are a ton of capitalizations all the way, kind of inside of this thing. And the coordinates that came out of that one were in the center of the ocean, right coming out of the Strait of Gibraltar, straight out of the Middle East. Okay. And why that is so terrifying, when I show you what the threat assessment was, is end port, Baltimore, Maryland, port, and this is in a harbor. The second one was Savannah, the port of Savannah, harbor, right? And then the next one is a shipping lane coming out of the Middle East, okay? My partner, Brian, he did a search and he identified that at the time that David or James Rawlings had made that post, there was a ship that was headed to the port of to the port of Savannah that would have been there right then. He can tell you the name of the ship. He's got that stuff. But I mean, it's like right then. It's like when we were trying to time it out, it's like, okay, so if it would have been there, like it would have been right there. So again, the reason that is so important, as we go back to the, the whole thing that we examined here. So now at this point, we're probably going to close this off. You'll hopefully have seen enough in a second. So remember, the guy who we're evaluating is this guy, former military, who had been cheering in the direction of the shooter, which was done by a left-wing radical. I've been seeing lots of intelligence stuff about left-wing radicals having potentially coordinating with Iran and other terror groups overseas. I've been watching this in podcasts, like with CIA, people. And then this guy who's posting these.
If you guys are watching any podcasts and those podcasts have intelligence people on, I hope you're really watching those with a grain of salt and not take I really hope you guys are not just, oh, this person's former CIA. Well, they're going to be honest. They're going to tell me all the truth.
Incredibly bizarre ciphers on his X account. His military background is specialized National Guard unit trained to respond to domestic.
Casey Fruch, I don't know. So, Casey Fruch says, so he thinks Tyler Robinson is the shooter? I don't know. I think it just depends on what day of the week for Jesse, on what he really thinks. Okay, here's my honest opinion. I think Jesse on Fire thinks Tyler Robinson did the shooting. I think Jesse on Fire also thinks he was not the only one involved. I think he thinks that there were plenty, or not plenty, but that there were more than 2 other people who were left-wing radicals that were involved in it. That's what I think Jesse really thinks. Here's the problem with that, is that's not what Jesse's audience wants him to think. So Jesse can't stick to that. Jesse has to do other things, like crazy shit like this.
Chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive disasters, often within the first 6 hours. That's what his background is in. He's posting these ciphers, and given those coordinates and what that looks like it is, where it is, if you work backwards. And then, here you go. Now watch this, okay? So the next thing it evaluated in these, what was the meaning of some of these codes? It's like, Mama
Owlbear, could you imagine being the FBI and listening to this? Let's just say he's right. We'll have a thought experiment. Let's just say he's right. How far up the ladder is this going to go in the FBI till it gets to the deep state people that were involved? Like, what are we talking about? I don't trust the FBI. I don't trust any of these people, but listen, we deciphered this code. We have to get this to the FBI so that they can see. That's the world we live in. That's where we're at.
1405 is overwhelmingly associated with hazardous materials and specialized response protocols. Suggests the asset is a chemical, biological, or high-risk explosive payload. And then this is all about how this is potentially. Over here, this shows that this may be. The 7 zeros could be an intentional flaw, deliberate manipulation of the tidal field data. Anyway, you get the point, right? Like, we're talking about, coordinates, ship on the way in. We identified the ship that would have been there on the way to Georgia. There's all kinds of stuff in here that obviously you guys can look at that indicates that this is a potential. And in summary, going back to this, the first thing that we started with. Okay, so here is the immediate plan that is suggesting that we give it's an active transnational WMD plot. Vessel currently passing Strait of Gibraltar, 7 to 10 days to Georgia. The WMD is ethylene oxide rigged for a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. So remember, that's where we started. Okay, now, again, we can go through all of this in detail, but a lot of this, I'm going to include this entire thing in the brief that is attached to this. Along with all of these other things. So that is what it is. Chris has my contact information, and myself and my partner would be happy to talk as soon as possible, obviously, because this, if this is real and it's not, AI playing tricks on us, then we need to act really fast. And now I'll give you guys some context because this is now what was going to be the beginning of the video. Oh, I know.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jesse. I'm really glad you waited till 2/3 of the way into your video to give us context. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.
Baron had an amazing show last night. I watched it. I thought he did a good job.
Yes. Natalie says, is this still AI stuff? Yeah, it was all AI. It was all
where he
AI.
was talking about the story whereby David, the cheering guy from the Charlie Kirk assassination thing, had made those incredibly bizarre posts, which I had spoken about on my channel. And you guys may recall, I spoke the last time that I talked about David on my channel. Okay. I did this right here. I was talking about this post right here. And I was reading it and I was like, an oath breaker greater than a liar. So trust better than belief. And I'm like, what is this? Two commas, you know, stars, all these weird intentional misspellings. What is this? And I said on the show, I was like, this has got to be some kind of cipher. Like, this has to be some kind of cipher. Now, when you have a channel as big as mine and that video got 200,000 views, and AI
100%. It's got to be a cipher, guys. Somebody stupid enough to have foreknowledge of what was going to happen to Charlie Kirk, showing up to the event in the crowd, standing up and cheering after it happened. That guy, that smart guy, is just going to put ciphers on X. I am aware that I am not incredibly intelligent, okay? I'm very self-aware. This level of dumb astounds me. I cannot believe that people are this stupid and are just like walking around free, like have jobs and are just free to drive cars, fly planes. Who knows what all of these people are doing? But the guy, the intelligence guy, sending out the code on X, on his X account that's just full of people who hate him, was the super smart, intelligent dude who had foreknowledge of what was going to happen to Charlie Kirk and maybe even was in on it, showed up in crowd at the event and stood up and cheered afterwards just to make sure that he drew all of the attention. That guy knows all the secrets.
exists, you're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna try to crack that cipher, and they did. And I had so many people blowing me up. They're like, "Hey, I think I figured it out." And like some AI bots would come up with something, and it would just be like some sentence that sounded something similar to this. And yeah, and then I got a tip that may or may not have been the real cipher key, and it was just from some random Proton mail. And
Jack Craig, what's worse is they're allowed to vote. Yeah. Oh, well, that's our country. That's our country. How's that Department of Education thing going? We got rid of that, right? That's no longer a thing? That was probably a good call. Or if we just defunded the crap out of it.
when I input it, that opened this whole world of nightmare fuel for me. And so
Miss me, cats. Hola, guys. What I miss. I would love to tell you that you missed some incredible stuff. But, oh, well, you did. You may have missed one of the dumbest theories I've ever heard in this entire Charlie Kirk, whatever you want to call it. This may be one of the dumbest ones that I've heard. And what makes it so incredibly dumb is just how serious Jesse seems to be about this.
we kind of dove down that rabbit hole with AI, because we were trying to break it with AI also, myself and my investigator, and there was nothing there. There's just nothing there. And then this guy from the Proton Mail sends over a cipher break potentially and goes, try this. And we plugged it in, and it worked. And all of a sudden, I mean, we spent.
Billy Mandalay, the big question apparently is, why is David so obviously weird? I have an answer for that. It's a completely rational answer. He's a Mormon.
We tried to disprove this every possible way with AI, and it just kept on telling us over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Every way that we tried to make it not.
I should clarify that my grandfather, 2 years before he passed, converted to Mormonism. So I have family who were Mormon. So I can say that Mormons are creepy as shit.
You know, oh, this thing not real. It just was real every single time, you know. But I'm going to tell that whole story in detail during a live stream on Tuesday. But let me give you a little bit of detail on this before, you know, I pass it all the way off. Tuesday live stream. So just to put everybody on the same page as we are forthcoming going to get into the details of the story that Baron laid out, I'll just show you a couple things. Okay, so this is an extraordinarily large document that went to the FBI, but I'll just show you a couple things so we're all on the same page about why we're talking about it. But you can see right here.
Could you imagine what the people at the FBI that received, like, what were their thoughts? What was going through their minds? The people at the FBI who got this information. Imagine having the balls to send this to the FBI, being like, we cracked this code, guys. You need to take a look at this. I'm so glad that there's people like this that exist. I just wish it wasn't as many as it appears to be. Like, a few is fine. You know what I mean? Variety is the spice of life. But the amount is starting to get really scary and concerning.
Here, okay, this is a little bit of what this was. So the target date, 11/22/25. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when this was created. So you can see that this document was last modified October 24th, 2025. And what you can see right here is target date would be 11/22/2025. So we'll get into the details much more when we talk about this in detail, but just to be, you know, transparent with what we were dealing with. Now, all of the coordinates that we uncovered in the code were all ports. All of them were water ports.
This guy, he's been working on this shit since October. Yikes. Like, he is the meme. He is the meme, guys. With the conspiracy stuff and the board and all the papers and the red yarn connecting, he is the meme.
Strait of Gibraltar, all this stuff that, again, we'll go over in detail. But the reason we were looking at this guy, or just in general, is because of this. Okay, watch. He's going to be right behind that pole right there. See him right there?
Benjamin, Idiocracy, my friend. We are slowly merging with Idiocracy. Think we're on an acceleration here.
Okay, that's David, the guy who was cheering immediately following the attack. And look at, while everyone else is running around, see him? He has his arms crossed. He's just chilling. Everyone else is running around like lunatics, trying to get to safety. He has his arms folded. And just to quickly summarize,
except for all those people that are sitting down. Except for those people. I'm not going to talk about those people. We're just going to talk about the few people in the background that are running for safety. But everybody except this one guy is not moving, as long as you don't look at all the people that are sitting crouched down.
What the threat identified was a Los Angeles hazmat alert, Port of Los Angeles. We thought that, found the container ID, and the true hazmat chemical UN 1040 had been intentionally mislabeled as UN 1405. And the reason for that is because obviously if there is a fire with hazardous chemicals and hazardous materials, there's a very specific way that you're going to respond to those things. And if you do the wrong response, it's going to detonate. Okay. And when it comes to this right here, UN 1040, when we talk more about the entire story and I go through the details of exactly what happened and who I went to and how we ended up like at the top of the FBI looking at this, I will show you what this stuff really does. But obviously the big reveal comes when on that date, 11/22/2025, this happens. So this was a potential massive disaster with a hazardous chemical fire that was on a ship in Los Angeles on November 22nd. Very, very early morning. This is a press release on November 23rd when the shelter in place was lifted, but they had all of the people in the surrounding areas sheltered in place while they took this gigantic ship and they took it a mile out to sea because basically what appeared to be, uncovered in this cipher, maybe, is like very similar or exactly what they were dealing with. And so thank God everybody was all right. But there's a lot more to the story, and we'll talk more about that, exactly how this happened, how it ended up where it did, top of the FBI, and who else I told, because I also interacted with the Department of Homeland Security, and I'll just tell you guys the story on Tuesday night during a live stream. So that is the plan. I will set it up by, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be either 5 o'clock, 5:30, or 6 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday when I'm going to do it. But that is forthcoming. I'll tell the whole story. I'll tell you exactly who I spoke to. I got the permission from Chris Pihota, who was, you guys maybe have seen him on my channel before. He's retired. He retired.
GS70 Stealth. Thank you for the super chats. You've been killing it today. Another $10 super chat. Charlie's security EMT secured Charlie while the UVU EMT was hiding. Yes, from my understanding, how EMTs work is they do not go in if there is present danger. They wait until it has been confirmed that there is no longer danger, and then they would go in. But EMTs would not rush and put themselves in danger. They have to wait until there is no more danger. That is my understanding.
From the FBI after being in the Bureau for 24 years, and he was a department chief, or division chief, I'm sorry. And the hierarchy there goes director, deputy director, and then the division chiefs. So there's like the political person, there's the director, then you have the deputy director that kind of runs the whole joint. And then you have the division chief. So he was like third in command when he retired in like 2019. He's the one that I interacted with after going to Valhalla. Actually, I went to Valhalla VFT with this when we first found it, because obviously with his background in special operations, Green Beret, codes and ciphers, I just wanted to see, like, is it possible this is real?
Like, that just makes sense.
And he's like, listen, I obviously can't talk to you about how the U.S. military does things. He's like, but you should definitely bring.
Casey Fruge, Valhalla is a cipher expert. Yes. Yeah. That same guy that had no idea that you could put a modern stock on a World War I era sporterized Mauser. Yep. Had no idea. Had no clue. That guy he's a cipher expert. Yep.
This to, bring this to the authorities for sure. And so he introduced me to Chris Pihota. That's how I met Chris Pihota, who has been on my show subsequently, and I brought it to him. And then I made the brief, the video that you guys saw in Barron's. It was actually made specifically to share as a briefing to go up the ladder.
Well, that's another thing too. Jack Craig says there are people who will take out EMTs trying to save a victim. Like, EMTs have a very specific job, right? If they were to just rush in a situation that is not under control and the EMTs get taken out, like, now you're waiting on more EMTs to come. So it just makes sense that they would not go in until the threat has been eliminated.
the brief that I created went to the head of national security in the FBI. So the FBI's top national security person is the one who was given the briefing. Oh, I just realized that between now and
the FBI's top national security person is the one that they gave the brief to on decoding David's cipher that he put on X. Holy crap. There's no way, guys. They have to be making he's got to be making this up, right? There's no way that I could not imagine running some stuff through AI and then being like, hey, FBI, hey, top person at FBI, you need to take a look at this. Look what I used AI to decipher. And not like the AI that we use. You know what I mean? AI that the public has access to. What are we doing? What are we doing? Look at that screen. That yikes. I don't think I've ever hit a screenshot like mid blink like that. Down in it. Dude, I watched Alex Jones for years, but this is a different animal. Yes, this is an entirely different animal. Yeah, Alex, yeah. This just goes to show you the level of education in the United States currently. These are the conspiracy theorists we have now. Going downhill, man. It's going downhill, and it's going downhill fast. This is what we got. This is the next gen conspiracy theorists. Jesse on Fire. Candace Owens. Baron Coleman. Wolves in Finance, I guess. We had it good. We had it so good.
In the live stream, you guys should probably just see the whole briefing video, because what Chris asked me to do is, he said, put together a brief with the full story, because I just was verbally telling him this and then showing him some things. He's like, put together a brief.
Yeah, I forgot. Ian Carroll as well. Yep, that's what we got. It's a shame.
Brief for that I can run up the ladder. And I was sitting there looking at this enormous document, and I'd gone through the process with my investigator to try to like decipher all this stuff. It's like, what does this mean? And then, what should we ask it next? At the whole time not knowing, is AI, like, is this one of these like AI things, tells an 11-year-old to like use their jujitsu belt to, you know what I mean? And like right now it's like, hey guys, you've uncovered an international terror plot. It's like, is this thing just telling us things or what, man? I guess that's before I talked to Nate. But so I sat there and I asked myself, I'm like, how am I going to communicate?
Yes, Jesse, I think AI is definitely telling you all kinds of things. We're cooked. We are so cooked.
How am I going to communicate this? I've told you guys a million times, when it comes to doing spreadsheets, stuff like that, I'm terrible, man. And especially a PowerPoint, I am not that good at communicating things through those means.
Yes, he's
However,
a YouTuber.
I'm great at telling people things, exceptional at doing videos and then talking people through things. So I was just like, you know what? Why should this be any different than anything else? I'm just going to make a video. I'm going to make a video for them and show them all of the different components to this thing. And so I
really screwed up, guys. I should have just jumped on the conspiracy bandwagon. I really made a mistake. I really screwed up. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh no, I'm going to go. I just want people that watch me, I just want them to be intelligent, logical people. What a mistake I made, guys. What a mistake. What was I thinking? You know how hard it is to keep up with quite a few of you in the chat. It is there's so much pressure. I could have eliminated all of that pressure by just going the conspiracy route and scooping up this audience. But here we are. I have to keep up with you guys. Sucks to be me.
You know, I didn't know how that was going to be received, but I made it for Chris, and he was like, "This is fantastic work." Coming from a division chief in the FBI,
Yes,
so I felt pretty
a
good
lot
about
of
that. You know,
people.
like the video that I'm going to show you guys in a second, you know, accompanied with the entire a bunch of other material that, you know, we don't need to talk about. But yeah, so I'll give you guys a look at that at the end of this. And candidly, here's the reality of the situation. Okay, this right here.
I've got to be like, I don't know if I could do it though. There's no way that I could get this stupid and outlandish and then like get on a camera and sell it. I just don't have that. There's no way I would have, I mean, he is doing quite a bit of edits, so it's very possible that he cracked himself up a bunch of times making this video. And that it looks like he's just like piecing it together to keep the flow up, but really what he's doing is just editing out himself reacting to himself and the words that he's saying. Cause this is next level. Just, I don't even know what would the word be for this. I don't even know if you could just use a simple word like insane or crazy or kooky. Like this is special.
That either is the most unbelievable coincidence of all time, or you know, was what it appeared to, or what we appeared to have uncovered. The disaster didn't happen. And, you know, as I kind of get into the details of my interactions here, I went in knowing I was never going to know whether or not our information made any difference, right? It's like, this is well outside of anything that I'm going to have any control over once I handed it over. Like I figured, you know, I was like, maybe there's a world where I would find out if it was real, but I had pretty strong feelings it wouldn't. And Chris told me directly, he's like, you're never going to know.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Miss McCat.
If this is real, this is going to be like really high level operational stuff, and you won't know. You know, you just won't know. And the fact that you know, this thing didn't happen, and they apparently successfully put out the right type of disaster. I mean, if they were if the ports were warned, you know, because Port of Los Angeles was not the only port. You know, there was Baltimore, the Port of Savannah.
Colors flight. I'm so confused. Okay, so I'm gonna try to put this together in a way that intelligent, logical people can understand. David, the crazy haired guy that was at the Charlie Kirk event on September 10th, the one who stood up and started screaming USA, USA, USA after Charlie was shot. That guy made a series of Twitter posts after that. A couple of those were some videos where he came across as a very weird, potentially psychotic individual. Okay. And everybody thought correctly that those were very weird videos. He then, later on, made some more strange posts with a bunch of like odd punctuation inside of these posts. And Jesse thought that they were so weird that it must be some type of code or cipher that he needed to look into further and try to see if he can decipher the cipher. So he took the tweet and he put it into Gemini and said, Gemini, decipher this. And Gemini told him he was retarded multiple times, but he kept trying, okay, until his current or former FBI buddy and Baron Coleman and Valhalla VFT, I guess, came up with a way to input this into Gemini so that Gemini would now be able to decode it. And what Gemini decoded was a bunch of dates with a bunch of locations, longitude and latitudes, apparently. And they took this information and they turned this information over to the FBI because it was incredibly important. And it might crack wide open some crazy WMD conspiracies that are going on behind the scenes that David, the crazy guy at the Charlie Kirk event, who drew all of the attention to himself for no reason other than he's an idiot, just happens to know all of this secret information and put it out on Twitter so that Jesse could find it and use AI and his FBI buddy to decipher it. So they turned it over to the FBI. And from the way he's making this video, they turned it in prior to November 22nd. And one of those dates that the cipher found was November 22nd and Alonja, which was this port, allegedly. And then he pulls up this article that this thing happened at this port. Granted, this is a press release on November 23rd. I don't know if this is the day after, if this is the day of. Either way, this is somehow evidence, or could be evidence, that the cipher worked and that now they've saved the world multiple times over because of all of the hard work that they did. But he won't be able to confirm it because it went so high up into the FBI that they would never come back. They wouldn't be like, thank you. You know, they wouldn't contact Jesse and let him know that, hey, that information that you were able to decode using Gemini, that actually we've stopped so many terror attacks that it's unbelievable. And we want to give you a medal. Like, that's not going to happen, is what he's saying. Like, he'll never know for sure. But just the fact that this happened and nobody was hurt might be evidence, guys, that what they decoded, that they were able to use that information, high levels at the FBI and whatever intel agencies involved, to stop whatever this was. Does that help? Does that help, Colors Flight? It's where we're at. That's what I got. Casey Fuge. Bronson explaining their psychosis to us is the only way we can understand any of this. Down in it. We're saved. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. And thank you, David, for having all of this incredible intel and being stupid enough to put it out there for us. I'm so grateful for David, because that makes sense. Because a guy like David is going to have all of this incredible knowledge. And he would have for sure put himself at the Charlie Kirk event. I don't know if he ties this into Charlie Kirk. I guess there's still a minute left. But I'm so grateful for David, who had really no followers on X to begin with until after 9/10. But I'm so happy that David made the decision to go to the Charlie Kirk event, to stand up and chant USA, USA, USA right after Charlie was shot, and draw all this attention to himself. And then when he had every suspicious person on the planet who believes in conspiracies attacking him on Twitter, that he decided that was the time that he was going to put out this super secret code. Whew. I don't even know what to say. Other than it appears that Jesse on Fire has saved the world. Because of how incredibly smart David is. Because they would give information like that to a guy like David. You guys are welcome. You are welcome. There is nobody else giving you this kind of entertainment. I can tell you that. There is nobody else stupid enough to force watch this shit and then pay attention and try to, okay, I take that back. There's a lot of them. There's a shit ton like these. I don't even know. How many views does this have? 269,000 views. So not his best video. Oh, man.
A couple others, and then the Strait of Gibraltar, that last one, dude. The last one was where we found out, like,
down in it. I have chromosomes in Bronson to explain it. I'm still, yeah, no, you should be. You should be. It's that stupid. It is that incredibly stupid. Like I don't even know what you have to be like completely void of all logic to go, you know what? This kind of makes sense. This kind of makes sense. or we just, our country is really that stupid that somebody like David would have all of this. They would give that guy this information, and then he would go and just throw out a cipher on X, guys, for Jesse on Fire to find and decode. I don't like, if that's how our country is running right now, cooked. It's totally cooked.
There was only enough in that one message to
the eclectic journalist. Wait, who is Dave? You're kidding, right? Would you keep up? Who is David? David is the crazy haired dude that was at the Jesse on Fire event that stood up and was caught on video screaming USA, USA, USA and smiling afterwards, and then got attacked on Twitter after everybody found out what his Twitter account was. And that was a whole thing months and months ago, but it keeps coming back, Oh, and he's a Mormon. Just so we're clear on that, which in my opinion explains everything, but
single set of coordinates, and it was right in the center of the Strait of Gibraltar. And it was like, oh, good, you know. So that certainly doesn't indicate that this is real at all, because this was the third one, right? And the code is based on capitalized letters, right?
Holy fuck. Just David just chucking out I wonder if he knows that Jesse cracked his ciphers. Just throwing out incoherent babble. Learn this, that a hard heart is greater than a false judge, so distance is better than dissonance.
It's just weird. Like, when you have all of this distracting stuff, you won't notice that there are so many.
The eclipsed truth. We are all dumber for having listened to this. I would hope that you are quite the opposite now, that you are far smarter and that you're more aware of just how not dumb you are.
Capitalized letters, right? And the capitalized letters are the actual indicators if the code, you know, in the proposed cipher key, right? And this last one, which was the shortest one, had the least number, and it gave a set of coordinates which were in the Strait of Gibraltar, which would be directly in line with a shipping, you know, a container ship, and where it was probably at on its way to the United States. And that was on October 22nd, exactly a month. Exactly.
Jack Craig. I wonder if he knows that military intelligence knows more about cracking codes than he does. I don't think so.